This video, it's not about me. It's about all of us. We are towards the end of the year and we have already started to make a resolution for the next year. We decide that in the new year, we will lose weight or do exercise, find a job or start a business. A decision is an important step in a process of making a change in our lives. Coming to a decision takes time, but it does not motivate us to an action. Decision does not make us get out of bed, it only suggests to us that we want to do it. Similarly, a New Year resolution does not make a change to happen. It only informs us that we want a change to happen, which is why New Year resolutions are often unsuccessful. On the other hand, consider a challenge. Challenge has little to do with decisions or resolutions. Challenge is a dare, something that makes us a little uncomfortable yet courageous at the same time. For example, we don't believe we would be able to get the ideal job, but challenge ourselves to send a CV out anyway, just to see what happens. We are not sure if we can tackle our depression this year, but challenge ourselves to do meditation every morning or read a book about depression anyway, just so that we take one small step towards where we want to be. The difference between a resolution and a challenge is what makes a challenge more determined. The more we challenge ourselves, the more determined we get about our destination. Let me share you a story. Japanese people love fresh fish. However, the water close to Japan have not held many fish for decades. So to feed the Japanese population, fishing boats got bigger and went further than ever. The further the fishermen went, the longer it took to bring in the fish. If the return trip took more than a few days, the fish were not fresh. The Japanese did not like the taste. To solve this problem, fishing companies installed freezers on their boats. They would catch the fish and freeze them at sea. Freezers allowed the boats to go further and stay longer. However, the Japanese could taste the difference between fresh and frozen, and they did not like frozen fish. The frozen fish brought a lower price, so fishing companies installed fish tanks. They would catch the fish and stuff them in the tanks fin to fin. After a little thrashing around, the fish stopped moving. They were tired and dull, but alive. Unfortunately, the Japanese could still taste the difference. Because the fish did not move for days, they lost their fresh fish taste. The Japanese preferred the lively taste of fresh fish, not sluggish fish. So how did Japanese fishing company solve this problem? How do they get fresh tasting fish to Japan? Now comes the interesting part. How Japanese fish stay fresh. The industry chose to innovate. To keep the fish tasting fresh, the Japanese fishing companies still put the fish in the tank, but now they add a small shark to each tank. The trick is in the word small, which has the capability of being powerful. Therefore, size doesn't matter. The small shark in a tank full of fish kept them in the water go around and skimming the danger points that spelled their end. These fish were on the move constantly. This kept them alive, fresh and as tasty as can be. What do we learn from this story? We all live in some kind of ponds, very tired and dull. We all need sharks to make us lively and keep moving. Basically, sharks here refers to the challenges, small or big, that we face in day-to-day life. Challenge seems more effective than a resolution or a decision. When we make a decision and for whatever reason we don't do what we decided to do, we feel bad about ourselves. We feel like we have disappointed ourselves by giving up on our resolution. On the other hand, when we challenge ourselves, we do it, even though we don't feel like doing it. This morning, I challenged myself to do exercise, even though I didn't feel like it. It is not my resolution, just a challenge, the objective of which is to improve my life. Put the shark in your tank and see how far you can really go. Thank you for joining me today. I'll see you in the next video, and lastly, be different.